on how better the costs can be adjusted or streamlined to ensure that majority of the population are able to access financial services in Tanzania. I think I will stop there for now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Deputy Governor Mrs. Msemo. Naibu Governor Mrs. Msemo pia naye ameainisha jinsi ambavyo wasimamizi wa sekta ya fedha wanatatua hizi changamoto kwa kufanya mikakati mbalimbali, ikiwa ni kuweka mifumo thabiti ya usimamizi, lakini pia mifumo thabiti ya tehama kwa ajili ya kutatua changamoto ambazo wananchi wanazipata, na pia kutoa kanuni mbalimbali ambazo zitaweza kuweka unafuu wa kupata huduma hizi za fedha ili kuongeza wigo la wananchi kupata hizo huduma. Asante sana, Naibu Governor. And now 2 more panelists before we finish. I'll now go directly to Mr. Sabi as chair of the Tanzania Bankers Association and also the managing director of NBC. You've heard the challenges that have been facing by the videos that we've seen. You had been in the market. You're an agile, an ardent believer in innovation. So what do you really think should be how would harness these opportunities that exist, but how would you address the aspect from the tailoring perspective of services from the banking sector? Karibu sana.
Thank you, Your Excellency, the Vice President of the United Republic of Tanzania. Protocol observed. In addressing financial freedom from the banking sector's perspective, whilst we have made progress to now 22% as per the FinScope Survey 2023, we still have a long way to go. I think that is a challenge that we in the banking sector accept. And to solve for bank account penetration as well as access to credit, we believe the following will be key. And the first that I want to stress on is the use of alternative channels to fasten the expansion of touch points for provision of financial services. Now, on this, I think Tanzania has made a remarkable progress, especially with the onset of the agency banking model, which has matured to become an important part of the payment ecosystem in Tanzania. As we look forward, as a banking industry, we view agency banking as a critical part of banking penetration going forward. Whilst we've used it predominantly for payments, we see it as a critical element through which other banking services will be provided going forward. You will have noticed that a number of banks currently have capabilities for instant account opening at agent premises. These days, with the use of a NIDA card, one could walk into an agent and be able to walk out with a bank account virtually in five minutes. This capability should make it possible for the banking industry to grow its penetration going forward. So the partnership with mobile telecom operators as well as other fintechs going forward will make it easier for the banking industry to reach more Tanzanians conveniently, but more importantly, the cost to serve will be affordable for more people through the use of these alternative channels. I think the opportunity that we have is to make the use of these digital channels more friendlier and cheaper for our people, so that banking or having a bank account becomes something that our people do not consider to be the preserve of those who are considered to be wealthier or richer. The second item that we are, as an industry, focusing on is the approach around the youth, women, the rural populations, as well as those with disability. These are unique groups and have very specific needs. For example, when you look at women as a group, women have unique needs. They are not only involved in economic activities, but they carry quite significant responsibilities in child rearing and taking care of families. And therefore, from a banking perspective, the products and services that will be unique to women will be key as we move forward. Now, this is something that banks have already been doing, and I will just to mention some of the products that are already available for some of these groups. Includes Gona NMB. That's a product that NMB has, and it looks after the youth. Chama account by Bank of Africa. Tabasamu account by TCB. Imbeju account by CRDB, which is focusing on the agri-value chain. Kuanasi program at NBC, which is focusing on the youth and those who are self-employed. Fanikisha Maisha by Equity Bank.
Yes, Mr. Sadi.
To name a few.
Sorry to interrupt you. So if you don't mind, because we are running late, we'll just.
Thank you. I'll bring this to a close quickly. So we will have to continue to focus on these very specific products that look after these groups going forward to help with that. I think the last one, as I close, is the focus on educating the public that it's not necessarily that expensive to maintain a bank account, that any Tanzanian can access credit from the banking sector. So education will be a critical part of what we do going forward, and the TBA specifically has a program around educating the public, and linked to that will be very deliberate marketing that uses Swahili as a primary mode of communication.
Thank you.
But communication reaching to the public will be key going forward, so we bridge the gap between the public and the banking industry. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sadi. Asante sana mwenyekiti wa TBA, muungano wa mabenki. Naye pia ameainisha mikakati ambayo taasisi za fedha zitachukua kwa ajili ya kuhakikisha kwamba huduma hizi za fedha zinawafikia wananchi kwa wingi, ikiwa pamoja ni kuchakata na kutengeneza huduma hizo zinazoendana na matakwa ya wananchi. Sasa mwisho kabisa tutamsikiliza kijana ambaye ni mbunifu katika hii tasnia ya fedha, Mr. Tony, Mr. Tony, you run a fintech company, and you've been receiving some awards based on the innovations that you have done. So what do you have to say in terms of harnessing the opportunities that exist, but also addressing the challenges that you've had from the segments? And you have, if you don't mind, 4 minutes so that you give us time exactly. We're supposed to finish within the hour. Thank you.
All right. Vice President and all protocols observed, good morning, everyone. So, wow, a lot has been said. I think someone was reading what I had written, so I'll try to be very brief as you've requested. Fintech is the new economic sector, and luckily it is disruptive. Fortunately, we have solid example of what it can become. We have seen the likes of Tigo Pesa, M-Pesa, how big they become. These are all fintechs. And as line of finance, we focus on addressing 3 key challenges, and some of them were highlighted there. The issue of collateral, there is the issue of flexible payment option that is caused by the problem being informal employment, and also the area of our population is nearly 50-50 Islamic and Christian. However, most of the digital products do not address the Islamic population. So we are the only fintech in Tanzania that has a solution that addresses the Islamic population at the moment. And we are very proud of that. And collateral is a barrier to entry, is a barrier to growth. We have also struggled in that space. We have a proven concept, but we failed to scale at the speed that we have. I must commend on the current regime, the current government, on the speed it has shown in executing decisions. For example, the regulatory sandbox, just when I thought it was an idea, we come to hear the framework is there and it's just waiting for final approval before it gets published. That is amazing. So this is why I say, if this is the speed that the current government is showing, I said that I might have one humble request or challenge, and that will be our takeaway for this whole audience and also to the Vice President, that I believe a unicorn will be found in Tanzania. I'm a strong believer of that there will be a fintech that will be evaluated at $1 billion. With the current regime, it is possible. So therefore, my challenge or my request, if it pleases you, that this government select 5 fintechs from today and give us, I've already assumed I'll be selected, but and give these 5 fintechs all the necessary support, the resources and access to whatever that is needed to achieve the ceiling of their growth that they can reach. And I believe by the time we are meeting next time, in 2028, inshallah, we will be talking something completely different. And that request comes from the fact that fintechs were being approached not only by local investors, but also international investors. A good example, Laina, we've just entered Rwanda. The moment we registered our company, we were approached by the financial sector. They have a unit for financial investment for Rwanda. The first request was, how would you feel if you put your headquarters to Rwanda? We'll help you fundraise. You'll be traveling with the president, and we will introduce you everywhere as a Rwandan company that is expanding in the rest of East African countries. So they have seen something that maybe we have not seen. But we know we can't compare ourselves to Nigeria, we can't compare ourselves to Rwanda, we cannot compare ourselves to Kenya. We have to create our own solutions, our own approaches that address our own challenges. Collateral must be redefined. I totally agree. At the same time, the issue of KYC, it is a barrier for most banks. We need to have more concepts that speaks around having shared KYC. So if NIDA cannot be printed for everyone, then it should be issued at the time of birth. But maybe the card is issued when you are 18. We're not shortage of technology. There are so many innovations around. Fintechs, there is Safari Wallet, we have Setlo, we have Kilimo Maendeleo, addressing different sectors in the country, from tourism all the way to agriculture. But the problem not being technology, the problem is we need to have use cases that will attract more participation and achieve inclusive finance. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tony. And you didn't miss opportunity to raise the FinTech World request to His Excellency, the Vice President. Kijana ambaye yupo katika tasnia hii ya ubunifu katika sekta ya fedha, naye ametoa changamoto ametoa fursa ambazo wameziona kutatua changamoto ambazo wananchi wanazipata kutaka kupata huduma rasmi za fedha, ikiwa pamoja na uwekezaji na pamoja na kuhakikisha kwamba watajitahidi hata Tanzania baada ya muda sio mrefu tuwe na kampuni ambayo ina thamani ya bilioni 1 za Kimarekani. Baada ya haya, naomba nirudishe sasa podium hii kwa MC. Thank you, Your Excellency, for the attention that you paid for this panel discussion. Asanteni sana.
Makofi hayatoshi, tuongeze tena makofi kwa moderator na panelists wote walioshiriki katika majadiliano hayo mafupi. Your Excellency Vice President, allow me now to invite Mr. Weber de Boer, Dutch Ambassador here in Tanzania, for short remarks before he introduces a video message of Her Majesty Queen Maxima of Netherlands. Karibu Mheshimiwa Balozi, makofi mengi kwake.
Habari za asubuhi. Asante sana. Mr. Vice President, all protocols observed. It's a great day, I think. Very important day. This third framework for financial inclusion will help millions of people around the country, especially on the countryside, to include themselves in the financial system. And that will help all those hard-working people to either start a business or to expand their business. We're very happy that our Queen is also contributing to this, and although, well, she would have very much liked to be here today, but she had previous engagements, and but she's here with you today virtually, and everybody that knows her and that has had a conversation with her will certainly know that she will not only follow the implementation of the third framework, but also actively participate in this. So I leave the floor to the Queen now. Thank you.
President Samia, Ministers, Governor Tatu, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome everyone to the launch of the third Tanzanian National Financial Inclusion Framework. It is a pleasure to virtually join you today. In 2013, I had the privilege of supporting the first framework alongside the late Governor Undulu, an inspiration to all of us. Tanzania has made incredible strides since then. During my visit to Kilimanjaro last October, I met with smallholder farmers. They use innovative microinsurance services provided by Acre Africa to help mitigate extreme weather impacts. The financial services provider offers affordable microinsurance to farmers using weather satellite data to assess and predict risks. When disaster strikes, this data is used to trigger payouts that farmers receive digitally. This innovative set of digital services is helping farmers become more resilient to climate change. With the confidence gained from insurance coverage, they now invest in drought-resistant seeds and vital inputs like fertilizers to maximize crop yields. One innovation can unleash a cascade of benefits. This is a holistic promise of inclusive finance, especially digital. Financial inclusion matters because it has the power to transform lives and livelihoods. Yet, it is not an end. Rather, financial inclusion is a catalyst for job creation and enables active participation in an increasingly digital economy. It also provides a safety net against adversities like illness, drought, or accidents, while simultaneously fostering financial health. Additionally, it empowers women, boosts income levels, and enhances productivity. These benefits go beyond individuals and families. They resonate throughout the whole nation and contribute to stronger, more cohesive communities. Today, I am thrilled by Tanzania's powerful vision to harness technology and data for inclusive and affordable digital financial services. The renewed focus on improving access and usage is critical. I am also delighted to see the commitment to enhancing the quality of financial services, making sure they're beneficial and help build resilience for everyone in Tanzania. This sets a new standard and matches Tanzania's reputation as a global leader in financial inclusion. Ensuring an inclusive and secure digital infrastructure is paramount, particularly in overcoming the challenges faced by the most vulnerable groups, including the youth, women, and small businesses. I applaud the thoughtful approach taken in policy plans to specifically address the needs of these segments. Special congratulations to Governor Tutuba and Minister Nchemba on your commendable efforts. I'm certain you both are aware that this is just the beginning. Your continued guidance in sequencing and prioritizing outcomes, coordinating across government, and defining how different strategic objectives effectively complement each other will be essential. Creativity and engagement with customers, innovators, and various government entities will be needed to maximize the benefits of digital financial inclusion for the poor and vulnerable. Finally, I extend my gratitude to President Samia for your unwavering support in making financial inclusion a top priority for advancing Tanzania's economic and social development. Your steadfast leadership will play a pivotal role in effectively coordinating, implementing, and ensuring accountability among agencies to deliver tangible results. My partners and I are here to support you. I wish you success in all your efforts. Thank you.
Tuongeze tena makofi mengi. Yes, that was a video message of Her Majesty Queen Maxima of Netherlands. Kwa heshima na taadhima, Mheshimiwa Waziri wa Fedha, karibu uweze kumkaribisha mgeni rasmi. Tumkaribishe kwa makofi mengi sana.
Your Excellency, Vice President, kwa heshima na unyenyekevu mkubwa, may I invite you now to address the audience. Mheshimiwa Makamu wa Rais, karibu sana.
Tumkaribishe kwa makofi mengi sana Makamu wa Rais wa Jamhuri ya Muungano wa Tanzania. Bado tuongeze tena makofi mpaka anafika kwenye podium. Haya, asante, naomba tuketi, tuwe watulivu, tumsikilize kiongozi wetu.
Honorable Dr. Mwigulu Lameck Nchemba, Minister of Finance, honorable ministers present, the Regional Commissioner of Dar es Salaam, the Honorable Governor of the Bank of Tanzania, who is also Chairperson of the National Council for Financial Inclusion, Permanent Secretaries present, Principal Secretaries from the Revolutionary Government of Zanzibar, Excellencies, Ambassadors, Heads of Diplomatic Missions and Diplomatic Development Partners present, Senior Government Officials, Private Sector Leaders, our distinguished clergy and religious leaders from the Christian Council of Tanzania, the Tanzania Episcopal Conference and BAKWATA, Defense and Security Committee members from Dar es Salaam region, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, I wish to welcome you all to this very important event. Karibuni sana. I'm also delighted and honored to launch the third National Financial Inclusion Framework for the year 2023 to 2028 on behalf of Her Excellency the President. The launch of this framework is a key milestone in the development of our financial sector. And I want to thank the Minister of Finance from both the mainland and Zanzibar, as well as the Governor of the Bank of Tanzania and Chairman of the National Council for Financial Inclusion, as well as the organizing team for really excellent arrangements of this event. Allow me to recognize and commend in a very special way 3 individuals. One, of course, is the champion of financial inclusion in the country, Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania. But together with her, I want to recognize 2 long-term friends of Tanzania, Her Majesty Queen Maxima of the Netherlands and Dr. Alfred Hanning, the Executive Director of Alliance for Financial Inclusion, and I do so for their profound contribution to our various initiatives on financial inclusion in Tanzania. Excellencies and distinguished participants, I want to commend very highly those who have who participated in preparing the video. In short, it says it all in terms of the challenges ahead of us on the road to financial inclusion in Tanzania. Equally, I sincerely congratulate the panelists for great insights on the progress we have made so far on financial inclusion and how to move forward. Natamani sana kama uzinduzi wote huu ungekuwa kwa Kiswahili, maana lugha nayo sio jumuishi na hasa kwa walengwa. Lakini basi nitaendelea hivyo hivyo. Excellencies and distinguished participants, financial inclusion is among the important drivers of socio-economic development, and more so in the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic, where income inequality has escalated to a great extent, with differences between the rich and the poor, the financially included and the financially excluded, becoming increasingly obvious. And in very specific terms, financial inclusion is key to integrating the unbanked into the formal economy, which helps to elevate poverty, to alleviate poverty, make the poor less vulnerable to financial shocks, broaden the tax base, stimulate public spending, and raise the living standards for all. Excellencies and distinguished participants, as we have heard, in Tanzania, financial inclusion is among the top priorities of our reform agenda and constitutes a key objective of the National Development Vision 2025, as well as the National 5-Year Development Plan. I'm happy to note that implementation of the second 5 and financial inclusion framework recorded very good results, as we have heard, with greater evolution of access to finance by Tanzanians. For instance, the national average of people living within 5 kilometers from formal financial services, they have increased to 89% in 2023 from 86% in 2017. And in some urban areas, we are told we have achieved inclusion by 100%. And according to the FinScope survey of this year, the number of the adult population using banking services has increased from 16.7% in 2017 to 22.2%. And this is closely moving towards the 33% target we set ourselves for 2025-2026. And overall, the survey has showed that the use of formal financial services among adults of age 16 and above has increased to 76% in 2023 from 65.3% in 2017, with the gap between men and women narrowing to 3% in 2023 compared to 10% in 2020. The rapid developments in financial inclusion had positive impact on growth of the financial sector, as the Minister did point out, which recorded growth rate of 9.1% in 2022 compared to a contraction of 2.7% in 2017. And I must say I'm very glad that these notable achievements are a result of public and private sector collaborative efforts. Excellencies and distinguished participants, despite the achievements attained in expanding financial inclusion in the country, the remaining major challenge is to fully include the entire economically active population to access and use formal financial services. And for instance, in rural areas, only less than 10% of the adult population has access to formal banking services. And the underlying existing barriers to access and usage of formal financial services, as we have been told, include the lack of universal access to national IDs that would have facilitated ease of opening financial service accounts, inadequate access to fixed collateral, and alternative affordable collaterals for assessing and expanding credit to underserved population. But there is also onerous process for business formalization, an affordable cost of financial services that includes high interest and non-interest rate charges, and unfriendly environment for women, youth, and people with disability. It is for these reasons that today we are launching the third National Financial Inclusion Framework for the period 2023 to 2028 that will, I hope, create the impetus for addressing economic challenges facing our citizens. Financial inclusion is a very important pillar that should be given due consideration if we are to ensure that no one is left behind. Excellencies and distinguished participants, in order to ensure that more economically active Tanzanians are included in formal financial services, I would like to emphasize to the distinguished audience here and other stakeholders to focus on the following, but I must emphasize harnessing on technology. First, I think is to ensure that the set targets in the third National Financial Inclusion Framework are achieved by the end of 2028, and I think we'll do so, especially if we direct efforts at addressing financial inclusion needs of the disproportionately underserved segments, i.e. women, youth, micro, small and medium enterprises, people with special needs, farmers and fishermen. And these efforts will complement the initiatives being implemented under the Tanzania Generation Equality Program. Second, in collaboration with the Ministry of Home Affairs, I think we need to ensure universal access to national identification and expand the scope of access to the national identification from birth. And I believe this will facilitate expansion of access to formal financial services to the youth, including those under the age of 18. Third, I think we need to strengthen financial consumer protection, particularly against cyber crimes and market malpractices, to build consumer trust and confidence in using financial services. Fourth, I think we need to reduce the cost of accessing and using formal financial services and developing regulatory frameworks and systems to improve and expanded scope of collateral for easy access to credit. Finally, I think we need to increase efforts to extend affordable shared payments infrastructure to enhance the use of formal financial services. But in tandem, there is greater need to enhance universal connectivity, reduce reliance on use of cash transactions, and expand efficiency and competitiveness of the financial sector in Tanzania. Excellencies and distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, I wish to commend our development partners for continued support and collaboration in our journey to achieve holistic financial inclusion in Tanzania. Let me also express Her Excellency Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan's resolve and full commitment to support implementation of the National Financial Inclusion Framework for 2023 to 2028. And maybe finally, may I take this opportunity to direct the Minister of Finance, United Republic of Tanzania, and the Minister of Finance of Zanzibar to work together and rise up to the challenge posed by our friend Tony. So with these remarks, I thank everyone present at this very important event, and I'm now ready to officially launch the National Financial Inclusion Framework for 2023 to 2028. I thank you for your kind attention.
Asante, makofi mengi sana. Tusimame kwa heshima na taadhima. Kuna kitu cha kubonyeza, Mheshimiwa Makamu wa Rais, kwa heshima na taadhima. 1, 2, 3. Makofi na vigelegele. Naomba ubaki hapo hapo kwa heshima na taadhima. Mheshimiwa Makamu wa Rais. Anasalimiana na mmoja wa washiriki. Kitakachofuata sasa ni kitabu, cover ya kitabu kupandishwa juu. Naam, hiyo cover page inapanda. Makofi na vigelegele. Hiyo ni cover page ya National Financial Inclusion Framework. Piga tena makofi mengi. Haya, asante. Tuongeze tena makofi kwa heshima ya Makamu wa Rais baada ya kuzindua Mpango mkakati wa Taifa wa huduma jumuishi za fedha 2023-2028. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Makamu wa Rais. Sasa unaweza ukaketi. Naomba tukae.
Mheshimiwa Makamu wa Rais, kinachofuata sasa hivi mwenyekiti wa Baraza la Huduma Jumuishi za Kifedha, Governor Emmanuel Tutuba, kwa niaba ya members wote wa baraza hilo atasaini mbele yako mkakati ambao umeuzindua leo.
Na mtazamaji wa TBC1, Governor wa Benki Kuu Dr. Emmanuel Tutuba akitia saini katika kitabu kile ambacho kinaelezea mkakati wa kitaifa ambao umezinduliwa hivi punde wa huduma jumuishi za fedha wa miaka 5 2023-2028. Mkakati wa kwanza ulimalizika mwaka 2016, wa pili ulimalizika Disemba 2022, na huu uliozinduliwa hii leo ni mkakati wa tatu ambao umezinduliwa na Makamu wa Rais Dr. Philip Mpango, na hapo akipokea mkakati huu. na makamu wa rais akionyesha juu kitabu hicho ambacho kimezinduliwa hii leo cha mpango mkakati wa kitaifa huduma jumuishi za fedha kwa miaka 5 utakaanza 2023 2028. Tumsikilize mtoa maelezo.
Unaashiria makubaliano na umoja wa baraza hili katika utekelezaji wa mkakati huu. Pamoja na mkakati huu tumeambatanisha pia ripoti ya tathmini ya utekelezaji wa mpango wa pili ambapo iko huko ndani. Pamoja na hayo pia tumeambatanisha nakala ndogo ya Kiswahili kuhusiana na mkakati huo. Na pamoja na hayo pia kuna tools zingine ambazo zitasaidia katika utekelezaji wa huu mkakati. Pamoja na tools hiyo tuna implementation support guide pamoja na guide for financial educators. Tumeona hapa kwamba swala la elimu ni kikwazo kikubwa sana katika ufikiaji wa malengo ya huduma jumuishi za kifedha, na pia communication framework ambayo itasaidia pamoja na baraza kujua ni nini kinachoendelea katika utoaji na upatikanaji wa huduma za kifedha. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Makamu wa Rais.
Mheshimiwa Makamu wa Rais, naomba uridhie kwa ajili ya zoezi la picha za kumbukumbu, na picha za kumbukumbu zitapigwa hapo nje. Tutatoka kwenda kupiga kundi la kwanza mawaziri na manaibu mawaziri, naomba tujiandae. Lakini Mheshimiwa Makamu wa Rais, niombe radhi, nilitaja viongozi washiriki nikasahau kuwataja wenye nyumba hii, wafanyakazi wa BOT wote kwa heshima na taadhima. Hebu tusimame Mheshimiwa.
Tamati. Na sasa zoezi linalofuata ni kupiga picha, lakini pia ni kufahamishe tu kwa ufupi malengo yaliyowekwa katika mkakati huu. Katika mkakati mpango wa kitaifa mpaka sasa ni 89% ya watu wazima wanaoishi ndani ya kilomita 5 za pointi za huduma ya upatikanaji wa huduma za fedha. Lakini kwa mujibu wa mkakati huu uliozinduliwa, inataraji ifikapo mwaka 2028 98% ya watu wazima wanaoishi ndani ya kilomita 5 za pointi za huduma ya upatikanaji wa huduma za fedha kufikiwa. Lakini pia mpaka sasa ni 30% tu ya watu ambao ni wakopaji wenye taarifa katika mfumo rejea wa mikopo. Na katika mpango huu lengo ni kufikia 35% ya wakopaji wenye taarifa katika mfumo rejea wa mikopo. Lakini mpaka sasa kwa mwaka huu hali ilivyo kwa mwaka 2023 ni 76% ya watu wazima walio na akaunti zinazoweza kufanya miamala katika taasisi za fedha. Na lengo la mpango ni ifikapo mwaka 2028 kufikia 85% ya watu wazima walio na akaunti zinazoweza kufanya miamala katika taasisi za fedha. Lakini 11% ya biashara ndogo na zakati zilizo na akaunti katika taasisi za fedha ndio hali iliyopo katika mwaka huu 2023. Mpaka mwaka 2028 inataraji kufikia 16%. Na haya ni kwa uchache tu, lakini dira kabisa wa Tanzania watu wazima na biashara zao kufikia na kutumia bidhaa na huduma mbalimbali za fedha zenye ubora, gharama nafuu zinazoboresha kipato na hali zao za kifedha. Mpango wa kwanza ulihitimishwa mwaka 2016, mpango wa pili ulihitimishwa mwaka 2022 Disemba, na hii leo ndio mpango wa tatu unazinduliwa ambao utahitimishwa mwaka 2028. Kwa niaba ya wote waliokuletea matangazo hayo, mimi ninaitwa Gloria Michael. Nirejeshe matangazo hapo studio kwake Ibrahim Chawe kuendelea vipindi vinavyoendelea hapo TBC1, kweli na uhakika.
Kutoka katika ukumbi huo wa BOT ambapo tumeshuhudia uzinduzi wa mpango wa tatu wa kitaifa wa ujumuishaji wa kifedha, na tumeona mipango mingi ya serikali katika kurahisisha huduma na kuhakikisha kwamba basi huduma za kifedha zinawafikia wananchi moja kwa moja. Lakini